Events are actions or occurrences that trigger JavaScript code to run, making the web page interactive. For example, when the user clicks a button, an event is triggered. JavaScript lets us listen for these events and respond with custom functionality. Some other examples include events like moving a mouse, pressing a key, or submitting a form. Each event has a keyword that will be used as a parameter to listen for that event. Here's a brief list of some of them: mouse events, form events, keyboard events, and document events. The following is an example of listening for a click event. Once the event is triggered, a function runs that puts a message on the screen that says button was clicked. Notice the syntax of the add event listener method. Button.addEventListener, and the two parameters click and the function. The addEventListener method expects these two parameters separated by a comma. The first parameter is the event you are listening for. In this case, it's listening for the user to click the button. The second parameter is the function that will run the code, or what we want to happen in response to the event. This example shows the second parameter as an anonymous function. The code could also have a named function instead. The function here, called showMessage, is different from other function calls in that you don't include the empty parentheses after the function name. You may run across code that triggers an event within HTML, such as here it has the on click and then =, and then the function name. This is not best practice to handle events this way. JavaScript and HTML should be separate. The proper way to handle an event is to use the addEventListener method within JavaScript. Just as we don't like to use inline or embedded CSS, we also don't like to embed our JavaScript inside of HTML. It's harder to follow and maintain our code when it's in separate files like this. Having it in HTML also limits you to one event per element. With the addEventListener method, you can have multiple events listened for on one element. You could also remove the element listener if you needed using the .removeElementListener method. You cannot use this if the event listener was added within HTML. Passing parameters with an event function call is a little different since the addEventListener method only provides the event object by default. The most common way to pass a parameter, if you need to, is to use an anonymous function or an arrow function to call your function. Here's an example using an arrow function where the string Alice is sent as a parameter to the greet function. So now you know the basics of how to handle user events to make our web pages more interactive.